Hola, what's up? Antonio Serrano here, and today I have a magical character just for you. In this case, we're going to talk about one of my favorite British comedians, as it is James Acaster. I love this guy. The very first time that I saw his face was in his most famous meme in the British Bake Off or something like when he goes, Bon appetit. I had like a breakdown or something like that. He says, Bon appetit. Quite funny guy, and I think that magicians, we have to learn a lot from him. That's for sure. When I saw his specials on Netflix, I was like, this guy could perfectly be a magician. You can see a lot of comedians performing and you're like, yeah, this is a comedian. Or you see some comedians that they also know how to sing, how to dance, and you're like, he could perfectly be a dancer or a singer, but he's also very funny, so he's also a comedian. Like, for example, Jamie Foxx. But in this case, when I saw James Acaster, I was like, he could perfectly be a magician, because he knows how to handle props, he knows how to move through a stage, and we are going to talk about all of those different aspects that we magicians should learn from him. So without further ado, let's take a look at number 1. Okay guys, the very first thing that caught me off guard when I saw this guy's work on Netflix was the surprise. The surprise element for me is amazing, how this guy can tell so many jokes in a show in the span of 50 minutes, something like that, so many jokes, and you never see them coming. For me, it's unbelievable. A lot of the times with other comedians, you are like, he's preparing a punchline, he's preparing something, but you never see them coming. Sometimes it's like a very long-winded story to finish with a silly joke. Other times it's like, he's telling something quite serious and he continues with the same tone, right? The same cadence of speech, and then bam, there you have the punchline. So the surprise, and we magicians, our job is to surprise people. In this video, we're going to talk about a lot the similarities between comedy and magic. And one of the similarities they share is that both rely on surprise. If it is not surprising a trick, it's not magical. But if a joke has that kind of surprise element to it, you are not going to laugh that much. And the surprise in comedy could be because you never could have thought about that person said, and also because you weren't expecting that kind of line in that particular moment. And James Acaster is a master in both of those things, saying things that no one has ever think about them before, and saying things in moments when you would never suspect that a joke is coming. So yeah, magicians, you have to make your game up, you have to put your game up about surprise. You have to study this guy, because this guy is the master of surprise. I think that we haven't got that in the cinema, right? We have the master of suspense, that was Hitchcock. So yeah, if you can vote down below in the comments, James Acaster for master of surprise. Yeah, please. This is by far my favorite thing that I learned from this guy, and it is that he's a comedian, he's doing stand-up, right? But he doesn't care at all about the limits. Oh my God, I love this, because I have struggled myself so much because of the style of magic that I want to perform. Where I am from, and in most of the places where you can perform here, people want a magician that is like a classic magician, like a tuxedo, fire, doves, cards, newspapers, things like that. People want like the classic image of a magician, and obviously illusions. And it's like, you don't have like a venue that is perfect to perform illusions. Yeah, you don't have curtains, you don't have a stage, but you really want a magician to perform illusions here. But we are here in Spain, and people want like a classic magician. People don't want to risk it, right? And when I watched, before I watched these episodes in Netflix, I was like, okay, this is going to be a stand-up show. This is going to be a stand-up show. But then I saw like 4 episodes, and it was like 4 episodes. Maybe it's like a sitcom, mini sitcom, something like that. And then you saw like a stand-up show, but every episode has like a theme, right? But from the very get-go, from the very beginning, having a stand-up show that work individually, like 4 different stand-up shows, but they also work as a whole, that's completely out of the limits of usual, normal classic stand-up. Then having like a character, not only your persona, but having like a character in each of the shows is completely out of the limits, it's completely new, right? Because in one of the episodes, He is like undercover cop. In the other one, he is in jury duty, things like that. So in each of the, in another one, he's running like a report about bread or something like that. So in each of the different episodes of the stand-up shows, he has a character, and that's completely new. Classic stand-up is like, I am telling jokes and I am me. I am not pretending that I am someone that I am not. Maybe I am pretending that I am a different persona, but I don't have like a character behind the character. And that's something that he's doing. He's using props. And as you may well know, a lot of the times comedians disregard other comedians that use props like things or even instruments. Like pure comedy, pure stand-up comedy is just you and a microphone. And if you are using, I don't know, like a kind of a headband or something like that, microphone, if you're performing a microphone that is not handheld, you're not a comedian. I have seen comedians being that angry about guys not doing the classic theme, right? And James Acaster is like, my job is to make people laugh. My job is to make people laugh. And if I have to pull out props to make people laugh, I'm going to do it. And if I have to be a character for 50 minutes to make people laugh, I'm going to do it. So that is amazing how he can get rid of the limits and be better. It's like, I am not using the limits. That could be very comfortable for me, could be very easy for me. For the audience, it would be easier because they are seeing what they normally see in a stand-up show. But I'm going to push off the limits and it's going to be better for everyone here. It's amazing. So we magicians have to learn a lot about that. Yeah. Okay, I talked about this previously, but it is very important. Each of those shows that he's performing, they have a different theme, right? They have a different theme. The theme could be or could not be related with his character. Like he's an undercover cop doing research, like being in jury duty, things like that. That character could be related or not with the theme of the stand-up show. But it is quite easy to perform a stand-up show with no theme. It's like this joke, no this joke, no this joke. Now I'm going to do 25 minutes about this topic, and then 5 minutes about this topic, and then I'm going to end with 10 minutes about this topic. And that's a stand-up show. And that's okay. And that's perfect. And if you want to do a magic show that works more or less the same way, that's perfect. But I think that it is great from a professional point of view that your show has some kind of theme. And the great thing about James Acaster is that you can see that the routines that he does in either of the shows, any of the shows, that routine can work perfectly as a separate piece. Or I am sure that you can take some of the routines from some of these episodes and shuffle them, like shuffle them together. And he's going to find a way to justify those routines in another episode. Because the thing is that I have these many routines, now I'm going to see how they can all fit inside this theme. So this is basically what we magicians should be doing. We magicians should be, okay, I want to perform these tricks, I want to perform these routines. What can I think of, what can I make up to give some kind of cohesion to the show that is going to be all of those things united? So that's great. Yeah, having a theme, even if it is like a very soft theme, like a very simple theme, something that appears and disappears throughout the show, people value that and they see the difference between some random routines and a full show. Audiences can see that. Okay, so we have to be professional. Professional like James Acaster. One more thing to learn. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay guys, and this is the last thing that we can learn from James Acaster, and this completely changed my life. This is something that we can learn from him, and this is unbelievable. I have talked to you previously in other videos that one of the things that I was fighting for a lot of time is that I am very funny because I was born this way, right? Since I was very young, I was taking part in a TV show in my area since I was like 8 or 9 years old. So I always have that kind of thing when I was performing magic being 13, 14, 15. I always have that thing of, oh, you are so funny since you were born. And I really wanted people to know that I am funny, but I also want people to see that I have worked a lot in my act, in my show. So how can I be funny? How can I be spontaneous, funny and witty, but making sure that people know that I have worked hard for this? And that was the point when I met James Acaster and I saw how he understands a structure, right? And this happens the same thing with comedy and magic, right? If you have some kind of a structure, if people can see that what you are doing is what you do in every show, they kind of lose interest. It's like, I want to see something original, and that's something that Matt King talks a lot about. It's like, I want people leaving the show thinking, oh my God, I was there the day that this happened. Because people love to feel original, people love to feel unique. If they feel that they have been to a show that a couple of hours later is going to be exactly the same show, they are going to feel disattached. They are not going to feel connected to that thing, right? They want some kind of distinction for their experience, right? And what James Acaster does great is like creating that randomness, creating that chaos, creating that improvisation, and then further along the line, he tells you, no, that was scripted. No, that was rehearsed. But now it's too late, because now you have established that link of this is new, this is something that only happened here with us, and further down the line, you are like, no, this was completely rehearsed. This is completely structured. So you have the best of both worlds. You have like the improvisation kind of thing, you have the magical aspect of the thing that is happening right now, but then you show people that even those things were rehearsed, which is great. My favorite example of this, I think that it is in episode number 3 of James Acaster in Netflix. One of my favorite examples of this is that he performs in a yellow t-shirt, something like that, shirt, and the shirt has here like a very big pocket. And he's like, oh my God, have you seen the size of this pocket? It's huge. When I saw the t-shirt, it's like, oh my God, if I had this like in the middle of a shirt or something like that, or in a kind of attire that mechanics wear or something like that, that would be fine. That side of pocket would be fine, but in a t-shirt, oh my God, look at the size of this thing. And people feel like, okay, he's complaining about the choice of wardrobe or anything like that, because he thinks that the pocket here is too big. And that's something that he says at the beginning of the show. And then at the end of the show, he plays like a little electrical instrument. It's like a piano with a kind of pencil, something like that. I don't know the technical name. He plays the song, blah, 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 blah. And when he finished playing the song, right, he greets the audience like, thank you very much, and looking straight at the audience, like saying to the audience, be careful what I'm about to do. He takes the little instrument and goes inside the pocket. And the pocket is exactly the same size for the instrument. It's like saying to the audience, this was also part of the show. But now it's too late. Now you laughed before and you thought, oh my God, he's being so spontaneous, he's being great. So that's something that every time I put a routine in my show, every time that I create a gag, every time that I create anything, that's something that I'm willing. That's something that it's my goal. Like, I want people to laugh. I want people to feel that this is the very first time that is happening, that is happening at the same time, further down the line, that they realize, no, this was scripted. No, this was 100% thought of this way. It's great. It's 100% a master move. And things like that can be found plenty of times in each of the different episodes in his Netflix special. And I also recommend to you his other special, which is more or less like more stand-up classic style. His 1999 Hate Myself Called Lasagna, I think is the name of this special. Extremely funny, more than 2 hours of him explaining the British Bake Off story and things that happened to him in a more personal way. And it is great. It is like outstanding, nevertheless. So guys, I hope that you find this information useful. I love studying other artists that have nothing to do with magic to learn from them, and I hope that you enjoy this too. So please leave a comment below, subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the near future. Bye there!